In a grant-funded program like ours, it's important to stick to your county's budget. The Budget to Actual report will help your county stay on track with actual expenditures as well as clearly show what your spending status for the year is. You'll get the Budget to Actual report from the accounting team 2 to 3 days after the close of the month, so let them know if you haven't received it. When entering the spreadsheet, be sure to enable content and click Continue to any prompts. Otherwise, you won't be able to use all the features of the form. You'll see 4 tabs in the spreadsheet, but the only one you'll need to focus on is the Sum tab, which should be the tab that you see when the sheet loads up. The Sum tab is broken into 3 main sections: Actual Spending versus Budget on the top, Statistics here in the middle, and Budget by Sub-account here on the bottom. You'll also see some boxes and buttons on the right. The buttons can be used to show or hide the statistics section. The first box is used to show your county's total breakdown for admin and direct hours across all employees. If direct hours is below 80%, you'll see it in red, meaning it's below the goal of an 80-20 split. The second box is used to document your county's 10% variance. The grant allows us to move up to 10% of a unit's budget from one category to another, as long as it has been pre-approved by AZNN. Any dollar increase in one category requires a decrease in another. This box will show you how much that you've used of this variance and how much is left. Now let's go over the sections from the top down. The Actual Spending versus Budget section breaks down your actual spending based on the categories that your county is budgeted for. These gray columns on the left detail how much of your budget is allocated for each category. If you have an approved budget change, you'll see it over here as well, along with the adjusted budget numbers according to what was changed. Each month of the federal fiscal year will be in this section, with the previous month's spending filled in. You'll notice an extra month here at the end, the 13th period. This represents any expenses that were completed in September but not processed until after the fiscal year has ended. The last 2 columns of this section is for encumbrances. An encumbrance is an expense that has not yet happened but is planned to happen in the future. Let's say a teacher is hired to teach 5 physical education classes over a period of 5 months. She will be paid $50 after each class that is completed. If she has taught 2 classes already, your actual expense would be the $100 that she has already been paid for the 2 classes she completed, and your encumbrance would be the $150 that she will be paid at some point in the future after classes 3, 4, and 5 have been completed. Column W will show encumbrances when a purchase order is active in new access and has not been fully paid out yet. Column X will show encumbrances that are entered into the What If column in the Budget by Sub-account section below. We'll get back to this soon, so keep it in mind. Write any notes that you may have for the accounting team in column Y. Z will show you how much of your budget in each category is left after the encumbrances are taken out. The last column here will show you what percentage of your budget per category you have spent so far, after everything has been taken out, including encumbrances. The statistics section here in the middle is meant to help you optimize and view your spending percentages per month. This section compares your actual spending for the month with what is considered optimal spending for that month. Our sponsor prefers that spending is spread out evenly throughout the year instead of spending the majority during 1 month or 1 quarter. This section shows an even distribution of expenses over the course of a year. The numbers will not be completely equal due to payroll being processed differently in certain months. Since the university processes payroll on a bi-weekly basis, there are 3 payrolls in a month instead of 2, twice a year, accounting for the larger number in some months. When the university closes out their fiscal year on June 30th, some days from June will not be paid out until July, but they'll be expensed for June. This accounts for the larger number you'll see in June and the smaller number in July. These payroll anomalies are what causes the spikes in the graph on the right, which is a visual representation of the comparison between actual and optimal spending. The last section is the budget section. This section lists out each item in your budget and how much was budgeted for that item, along with the expenses that were made in each of the items throughout the year. There will also be a column showing any approved budget changes. If you would only like to view the items you have budgeted for, click the Show Budgeted Lines Only button up at the top of the section. If you would like to view all items, regardless of whether you have budgeted for them, click Show All Lines. The What If section is now the What If column over here on the right. Enter any expenses that might happen in the future in this what if section with the line item it corresponds to. You can enter a number by itself, and you can also add up numbers by using a sum function. All you'll have to do is hit an equals sign, type the number, plus signs where you need them, and it'll add it up for you. Add in a note explaining what the expense is for. The numbers themselves will pre-populate up at the top in the encumbrances from what if section based on where they fit in due to line item. You can filter any column in this section to find specific lines if necessary. Remember, you'll get this every month, so more and more information will pop up. If you have any questions after watching this tutorial, give the accounting team a call, and we'll be happy to help.